This is my model car collection. And this is a house that I built 2 years ago to basically house it all and kind of display it. Even though it doesn't look spectacular, it still kind of gives vibes of it being a driveway and stuff like that. But without further ado, let's get started on the details of the vehicles. So here we have a 2000 Ford Explorer Sport Track. One of Ford's ideas from the early 2000s and only lasted to the late 2000s, but I have one here and it's pretty nice and I did some good mods to it, so let's get started. Pretty dark interior, as you can see here. You could see the vinyl that I added, that I bought 2 years ago, and I got this thing, and I started doing all the mods to it. I put the carpet in and the floor mats, or at least that one is still left, but... And I added the headliner, and you could see the dome lamp. It doesn't illuminate quite well, unfortunately, so I have to use a camera light, but here you go. Here's the kind of the interior, at least on this side. And here's the back seat. This one has all 4 doors open. And you can see this side better. You can kind of see that little radio I added, the CB radio, which should probably like attach some form of antenna to make it a little bit more realistic, but here's what is there for now anyways. And you see the carpet and the vinyl seats that I added. Pretty cool, honestly. I did a few things in here. But let's move on. Here's the front of it. There's the engine compartment. I didn't really do anything to it except add those wires in the back there. And then you can see this chrome push bar I put on it. I actually got that from an automatic pencil sharpener that I took apart. And I just glued it together and threw it on there, and kind of see the lights a little, which I'll show you in just a sec. Pretty cool quirk in the back. So you have the tailgate, and the manufacturer added a mechanic where you could fold over a piece of metal that's in there for more cargo room. But I escalated a little bit to have this cargo cover that not only does this, but you can actually fold this and either store it in the back seat, or you could just slide it into there and have it like that. And then here, of course, that's the thing that the manufacturer added. And then here's the switches to the lights. You can see this is the one for the dome lamp. You can see here, doesn't do an incredible job at illuminating, but it's still there. And then you have kind of the grand finale, the actual lights that this car has, the real thing right here. And then you can see I added these fog lights. I couldn't quite make the wires go to the original ones, so I put these aftermarkets here, and then the license plate just kind of fits right in between there. And you have these lights shining bright at you. In the back too, you have license plate lights as well. Pretty cool model, I must say. And I'm pretty excited about it having 4 doors too. Here we have a 2004 Chrysler PT Cruiser. I have 2 other PT Cruisers, but this is the base model. The kind of doesn't really have anything, but still pretty cool. As you can see, I added basically a steel wheel. They all have steel wheels under these hubcaps, technically, as of the real thing anyways. But I had this exposed steel wheel to kind of add the effect, and these hubcaps also I handmade. You have some silly bumper stickers in the back. You have the plate, and you open up, and this one has pretty good dome lamps. I don't need the camera light to show you this interior. So you just kind of flip it over, and that's the headlights. There we go. I got the right one. But then, yeah, you see how much lighter it is now, and it's pretty cool. You have the seats that I upholstered. I did the full upholstery, the carpet, as you can see down there. And then I also did headliner, and then this seats that's really supposed to represent the base model. That they had this really nice fabric actually, and the PT I drive in real life has the leather, but I honestly prefer the fabric in the lower trim levels. Then while being in the trunk, you can see that I have the back seats right here, and I can actually lower these. It's more preferable. Now it's a little bit janky, but it's still possible. This seat kind of makes contact too much with the driver's seat, so this one doesn't go down that much, but this one does. And the other PT has it a little bit better. I did a little bit better on the other PT, at least as of this part. But you can kind of see that there, but let's move on to the headlamps. I could just fold this seat back there. And you can see a little bit more of the detail. Actually, one more thing with that gear shift that you see right there. Actually, the original model came with the older version of it, where it's like a little bit more of a basic gear shift, but in 04, or at least in 03, they added this gear shift, so I changed it for the 04 model. And it looks pretty cool like that. It's pretty nice touch that I decided to add out of some old pins that I found. Here's it all lit up. It's, you know, it's there, you know, it's pretty nice. It got some nice tail lights, the license plate lights. I make sure to add license plate lights. And then, you know, you see the gauge cluster there, and this is the base model. It only has the headlights. It doesn't have fog lights. The other one's a touring edition, which I'll show you in just a second. Also the stereo, you could see the stereo lights up too. Pretty cool quirk to really show you playing some tunes. But on to the next car. This is a 2005 PT Cruiser, where the driver door can't stay shut. Anyways, it's still pretty nice. I don't know how well you can see. There is some damage to the paint job here. Unfortunately, I suck at paint, so I couldn't fix it that well, but it looks okay. And the wheels also I used to have hubcaps over them, but I removed them. I wanted the 5-spoke. I wanted to look a little bit more like the one I have in real life. And so it's pretty nice. It's got the same seats, and I'll kind of show you in kind of its form with its lights on to make it seem a little bit more realistic. Here we have the dome lights on. However, unfortunately, it doesn't illuminate as well. It's a 2005. The only real difference is it is a touring edition instead of the base, but the interior is about the same. So I guess it doesn't matter a ton that the dome lamps in this one aren't as good to light up the whole thing, but they're still there, and I'm still glad that I added them just to really give that realistic feel. And just about all of these cars have lights that I added. And then I have the lights on now. I have the license plate lights. This one only has one license plate light. Interestingly enough, the strand broke, and I guess that's more realistic because I didn't know that the PT Cruiser, the real PT Cruiser, had only one license plate till I got mine. And then you see these back seats. All three of them can fold a little bit better in this vehicle, as I'll show you. Hang on. There you go. You got them folded about completely flat. You see a little bit of wiring from the strands there, and you see the dome lights. I think I could have done a lot better in terms of like making it more clean cut in here. Basically in all cars, there's definitely room for improvement in kind of the overall quality that I modified them, but they're still really nice. And see, the real difference here is the wheels that the Touring Edition has, at least on this one, the wheels and the headlights. I mean, of course, obviously in the real PT, there's of course a larger difference, but as it's models, there's just a couple of them, and one of them is these fog lights that you didn't see on the silver one. Pretty nice. This is basically the star of the collection, almost, but pretty cool. And honestly, it's held up quite well. This is a 2004 Porsche Cayenne. It's not the turbo or anything, it's just a regular V6, so it's not anything exciting in that level. But I got it for my birthday almost 2 years ago. This whole collection mainly drove 2 years ago. I just hadn't been able to collect in more recent times, but I have been building a few things that I'll probably mention in another video. But anyways, as you can see here, it's pretty nice, and I'll show you the other side. Here it is, and I don't know how well you can tell, but the paint job, you know, this is a while back when I tried to fix it, but I use like glue from a very crappy seller, I guess, or a really crappy brand, and as I was installing the lights and the taillights, it kind of oozed down the paint job, and my attempt to fix it was very laughable. A little bit embarrassed to turn on the light and actually show you the hilarious spoof of my attempts to save the paint job, but I think it looks at least a little better than would have with glue. But anyways, let's move on. Now this stone lamps are broken. I installed them, but they need new batteries. You could kind of see them. I mean, they're kind of there for the most part, and they probably show up brighter than on the camera than they do in real life. And you could just barely see them. Yeah, you could just barely see that there's a dome lamp just up there. I don't even know you could see it. It's really dim. It needs new batteries, but still pretty nice. I'll have to use a light for this one though. And when I do, you see this really nice interior that I didn't really do that much to. I just added the screen to light it up, and then I flip open the door here, and you see the carpet. I actually added those floor mats, which has the 4-spoke star, which if I post a whole lot more, you'll see that more often. That's basically the logo of my whole operation here. The 4-spoke star means everything. And then you could kind of see in the inside. Unfortunately, I'll have to turn this off so you can kind of see. There's not really a way to steer past the glare, but I could show you the best I can about this back seat, which appears quite well. Here's the more important part, the driver area. Again, I love installing this carpet here, and then I also added a headliner, which actually appeared pretty well in here, besides that wire, which I try to hide them the best I can, but sometimes it's just not really doable, and you have to just have them hidden the best way possible, even hidden in sight, which I don't know if you could even say that. Then have the cargo area here, which you see somewheres that go to the tailgate.